One of the more advanced trading strategies that is out there that people are using every single day is called the Iron Condor. Now, the Iron Condor is an advanced trading strategy, and you are essentially looking for a stock to either stay put, stay neutral, or not have much movement in a certain time period. In today's video, we're going to be talking about how the Iron Condor works, what it looks like to set up, and we can't do any examples, obviously, because the market is closed, but just give you guys a little bit of a perspective as to how you can trade the Iron Condor. So if you're excited for today's video, make sure you like the video, subscribe to the channel, and as always, turn on those bell notifications for all future uploads. Now, the Iron Condor, you do need to have advanced options trading approval. You can't just trade it when you make your account. You're like, oh, I'm going to trade the Iron Condor. You have to actually get approval for it. Now, how the Iron Condor works, and I'm going to do an example here with the S&P 500 with SPY. For the Iron Condor, you are basically looking at opening up 4 legs of a contract at the same time. So you're going to have some puts, some calls, all that kind of stuff. We're going to go over an example here, so do not worry. And the idea behind it is you want to make sure you're doing it with stocks that have good liquidity. Because if you don't have good liquidity, which we could probably pull up one and show you guys, it may be hard to get filled at a price that you want. So here is the S&P 500 SPY ETF, as you will see here. We had a nice actual week here, up 4%, which is actually amazing. So this would have been an example of when the Iron Condor would have gone against you probably, because again, it's a neutral strategy. You're basically looking for the ETF or the stock to basically trade sideways the entire time, and then you're able to collect passive income. You get paid up front for it as you wait for it to expire. You wait for theta to kick in and all that kind of stuff there. So what you would do is you go to trade SPY options here, and again, it's kind of taking the ideas from last video and the 2 separate ones and basically putting them together. So you're basically kind of just saying, like, I want SPY to trade between this price point and this price point, and that is it. All right. So what you might be able to look at in this case, and again, you can go, 15, 30 days out. Again, I'm not going to be the one to give you the end-all, be-all strategy or what to look for. This is what I would do for an Iron Condor. And again, this is not financial advice. So please do your own research for it. You can be aggressive. You could be less risky. It's all different ways you can look at trading strategies here. And again, this is just the basics to it. There's a lot more behind the scenes. And if you're part of the Kingdom Discord, you would see that because we have somebody in there named Anne. Anne is someone who's a big financial trivia lover, and she trades a lot of Iron Condors and has made a crap ton of money. So shout out to you, Anne, if you're watching this, because you are an amazing trader when it comes to the Iron Condor from what I've watched. So what you'd want to do here is that you would want to go ahead and say, I think that SPY won't go between now and May 15th. I think SPY won't go to, let's say like that $700 mark, for example. So I think SPY won't go to the $700 mark. And again, you can do this with indices as well. And going back to what she does it with SPX. So there's no after hours possibility of assignment. Again, when you're selling options, there's that possibility of assignment and everything else. So you can do this with indices if you want to, or just stocks if you want. It's kind of up to you and your preference, obviously, at the end of the day. With indices, though, it might cost you a little bit more in terms of you can't trade it. Isn't like the cost or the risk or how much money you could lose. With SPX is a lot more because it's a lot higher of a price. We can do an example of SPX also kind of show you. So I always do SPY because you can do it in as little as, a $1 difference in the strike prices here. So let's say you want to sell the 700, saying like, I don't think that SPY will go past $700. It's a 26 delta, which is not too crazy in this case here. And again, the problem with this is that you don't have the shares to offload. It's like naked call option. It's almost like a covered call, but you don't have the shares for it. So again, as we did in the last video, you would say, okay, you know what, Fridge, I'm going to buy the 701, and that's going to basically cap my, my profits here because it's going to offset how much I'm getting paid out, but it also is going to limit my max loss. As you'll see, without this contract here, your max loss would be unlimited in technicality, but you have a big loss if SPY breaks that and goes up to, 715 or whatever, because you obviously don't have the shares to give. So you would buy the 701 call option to make, again, that call credit spread. We made a video about that yesterday at the time of recording this, so take a look back at that if you want to. And so what you're going to see here, and you know what I keep doing? Whoop. I got to do this every time now because I keep forgetting on what in the crap we're doing here. And I got to show the actual, I want to show the nice little chart there. So again, we've got a nice delta 700, a lot of open interest and volume here. Bid ask is very, very nice, which we're happy to see. And basically what you'd be getting paid, you're getting paid $31 here. Max loss would be $69 here. So if SPY goes to $700, then you would be able to collect almost max profit of $31 in this case, where your max profit is at $700, and anything after that, you'd be losing a little bit of money. So that would be the call side. But again, you're saying, well, Fridge, I don't know what direction is going to be, but my thought is that it's not going to move much in either direction. So basically what you could do is you have a call credit spread, and then what you could do is you can go to the opposite side here, and you can create a put credit spread as well. So say, again, I like to go with nice numbers here. Say it's like, maybe a 650 delta, for example here. Again, this is not the exact, perfect strategy to build out here in this case. But say you want to sell the 650 put option here, again, hoping that it won't go below 650, and you want to buy this one to again to give you guys that little bit of collateral here in this case here. So you'd buy this one, and as you will see, it creates over here on the side here what's called the Iron Condor. So basically what it's saying here is that SPY has to basically trade between 650 and $700. Right now it's at 680. So it's not like perfectly centered here, but what the focus here is that you collect $45. You would collect $45 of passive income. And as long as SPY trades sideways between here and here, between now and May 15th, you would collect $45, and then your max loss is $55. So what you're looking at here for this kind of trade here is you're looking at almost a 1-to-1. You're risking, 55 to make 45, almost a 1-to-1 risk to reward ratio, which again is not a, the worst strategy to do in this case. You could sell options and get, risk 1 to make 2 or whatever the case is, but 1-to-1 isn't too bad in this case here. So really happy to see that that's how you can build your Iron Condors, for example. Now you don't have to do $1 spreads, as you could, if you wanted to, make it where it's a $5 spread, so 650 to 645, for example. Obviously it's going to allow you to collect more premium because you're paying less for this 645 contract here, for example. You're paying a lot less for it. But what it's going to do, and we'll do this on the call side as well, what it's going to do is it allows you to essentially collect more premium up front, but you get a little bit more of a risk to it. So now if I go $5 spreads here, I collect $211, which is very, very good premium. But now my max loss is $289. I've kind of just, multiplied my values up because I made the spreads wider. So making the spreads wider, that's kind of what your goal is going to be, is that you're going to be looking to collect more passive income, but you got to be worried that, hey, it starts to get closer to the strike price here. You may have to close it out for a loss. So 647 and 702 is your break evens here. So you can definitely do it that way if you want to. If you wanted to go like super, obviously the more risky you go, the more risk to return there is in this case. And a lot of people can trade these in different ways. The thing that sucks right now, obviously, with the markets is our Middle East conflict we have going on. There's a lot of volatility. So all it takes is one announcement and the market's going to go up 1%, down 1%. So there's a lot of, a little bit of problems that could be happening with that. So you got to be kind of a little bit on the cautious side here. For that reason. But the closer you do get to your, share price for these kind of trades here, the more risk to reward ratio you're going to have. Obviously, it's more risky because you're basically pinning it to a very, very small region. But if it does work out that way, you make a lot of money as a result. For example, if you were to make one literally at the money, which I think would be a crazy thing to do, but if you did, you get paid out a pretty hefty amount of money here. As you will see, you get paid out $99 and your max loss is $1. Why? Because you're telling me that SPY has to basically trade literally sideways between now and May. And that we all know that ain't happening. So obviously as you get closer to your share price, the risk reward is going to be a lot higher. So you got to kind of figure out what's a good sweet spot for you. Some people might like to go like a 30 delta maybe. So we could probably even do a 30 delta, and I'll go over to SPX and show the same thing here. Again, the thing that you have to be worried with these is, like I said, with credit spreads from before, is your pin risk of getting pinned in between your strike prices. So just keep that in mind as you're, doing these kind of condors here. So if I did like a sell, a 697, and then say I wanted to do just keep it nice and small here. So it's a 30 delta there. So again, you want to kind of find that sweet spot where it's a good risk to reward in this case here. What's the 30 delta the other way? Let's take a look. 30 delta the other way is like a 663, and you'd buy the 662. And so this one's a little bit of a better risk to reward. You're risking 1 to make 1 and a half almost. So, not too bad. Obviously, 30 delta isn't too bad. All it really takes to here, though, is you got to make sure you manage your position carefully. Now, earlier in this video, I said that you need to pick it with a stop that has high liquidity, because the liquidity, your bid-ask spreads are going to be super crazy if you don't have high liquidity. There's not a lot of options being traded, so that's something to keep in mind about as you're doing it. For example, I'm trying to think about a stock that does only monthlies here. Like NVIDIA obviously is very liquid. Apple, the Mag 7s are very liquid for this, so you probably will have an easier time doing it in that case. But if you were to take a stock, I'm trying to think about what's one that may be like that. The one that came to mind, I don't know why, was Stanley Black & Decker. I don't know why. That's probably because I traded it recently. But if you notice here, when you go to the options chain already, it already only trades in the monthlies here, as you will see. It already trades in the monthly positions, the monthlies, not the weeklies. So it means there's less liquidity already. So even if I wanted to say, I'm going to sell, 80 and then buy the 82.5. Again, as you'll see, this isn't $1 increments, it's $2.50 increments here. And I want to go the opposite way and say, all right, I'm going to go with the 65 and then the 62.5, whatever it is. Again, this one isn't even a bad risk to reward ratio. It's almost a 1-to-1 here. But if you take a look at how wide your bid-ask spread is over here. 20 to $1.85 or 20 cents to $1.85. That's a really, really wide bid-ask spread. And if you put in, like 80 cents just to get filled, that's going to be a problem. So you want to make sure you're doing it with stocks that are pretty liquid, because otherwise it's going to be hard to get filled out and you're going to lose some money potentially just on that as a result. Again, what Ann does a lot with the SPX, the index you see here. This one you can only trade options with, you cannot buy shares. And so that's something to keep in mind about as well. But as you'll see, each strike price is a $5 increment, even for a 2-day expiration. So this one's going to cost you a little bit more because it's already $5 increments, or your potential loss is going to be more because it's in $5 increments here. The big difference, though, with SPX versus SPY ETF can move after hours. This one closes at 4 p.m. So if your Condor closes at 4 p.m. Eastern time, in between your strike prices, you're good. There's no risk of a big move after hours, of an announcement happening where stock is going to move, where the ETFs are going to move a lot after hours. There's none of that happens for this index here. So it's kind of a nice little trade-off there, even though it does cost you a little bit more. But, so if you're looking at doing one, obviously this is like a shorter dated one here. But again, if you wanted to do, like the 30 delta here, 6,850, 6,855. Again, as you'll see, it's already a $5 spread difference there. It's about a 30 delta. And then you go down to here. Again, these are not the numbers I always use, but just something to play around with it a little bit. 680 and then the 675. As you will see, your risk to reward actually isn't that bad. You're risking $200 to make $295, as long as SPX trades between basically 0.5% in either direction on Monday, on April 13th. So that is your idea behind your Iron Condor. And again, it does pop up and tell you that it is literally an Iron Condor, which is nice to know. So you're looking at an Iron Condor trade. And again, making sure that you're getting the liquidity fill is a big thing to get filled for these contracts here. So keep that in mind also. As you will see with Robinhood Gold, you do save a lot of fees, because if you don't, there's a lot of fees. There's a lot more higher fees that come with indices compared to the ETF. So there's pros and cons to both, obviously. Again, for me, if I'm doing a small account, I'm trading Iron Condors, I'm probably going to do S&P 500 maybe, only because that is, my, it's a little bit, it's cheaper, it's easier for us to do. When you were to put out this contract here, and again, this can't go in because obviously the market is closed, you do still have money that goes aside for collateral. I forgot to mention that earlier. You do have money that goes aside for collateral still, no matter what. So make sure you have money aside for that one. And again, nice little order summary here you see here. And so that would be, again, your collateral would be $500. You get paid $291. And, obviously, if you get pinned, if you get assigned, whatever the case may be, then obviously you take, your collateral minus your credit gives you your max loss, which you will see is down over here. So that's the idea behind the Condors. Again, it's very good if you're looking for SPY, SPX, NVIDIA, Amazon, Apple to trade sideways the entire time. If you're looking for big moves, though, you don't want to do Iron Condors, because these are limiting your restrictions here. So keep that in mind. Now, as someone who's the option seller, you kind of want to look to see if we get a little bit of a bump in the implied volatility, because to get a little bit more of that implied volatility, you can really take some good advantage of certain stocks if you have a high implied volatility. For example, if you want to do this on like earnings could be a good potential play for this to do, because if you get IV crush, if you're saying that, hey, I'm betting for this stock to trade between here and here, and the earnings come out and like nothing crazy happens and it trades in between, you get some very good premium as well. So the Iron Condor may not be a bad strategy for earnings. Obviously, keep in mind that you could get assigned though, so keep that in mind. But if you set your legs up appropriately, you may be able to make some good money there. So that is the advanced strategy. Again, not everybody's approved for it. You have to actually, fill out their approval form on their brokerage account. Make sure you fill it out and make sure you apply for it. So that way, if you get accepted for it, you can trade Iron Condors. And that is basically about it. So thank you guys so much for watching today's video. If you did make this part of the video and you found it very helpful and educational, make sure you like the video, subscribe to the channel, turn on those bell notifications as per usual. Keep on letting me know down in the comment section anything you want to know about options trading. We're going to keep on going with some more strategies here. Again, hopefully making money in the market in some way, shape, or form. And as always, I will catch you guys in the next video.